Joining us now to wrap up the business week is Greg Fairley. Greg, the potential of mobile phone applications is big business in Dubai.
Hi, Hermione. Yes, not just potential, but power as well in the future. More on that in just a moment. In fact, this evening, the UAE's non-oil trade has gone up by 8% year on year in the first 7 months of 2010, driven largely by exports. The total volume of non-oil foreign trade increased to reach almost 412 billion dirhams in the first 7 months of 2010, against 381.5 billion in the same period a year ago. The data released by the Federal Customs Authority showed growth in exports and re-exports, confirming the success of economic diversification policies that reduced the trade balance deficit. Imports rose by 2% at the end of July, rising to 270.5 billion dirhams against 264.9 billion in the same period last year. According to recent research by Nielsen, smartphone owners have an average of 27 applications on their handheld devices, with the typical Apple iPhone owner having 41 apps. They cited a poll of more than 4,000 mobile subscribers worldwide. Analysts predict a boom time ahead for Arabic content application developers and providers, where there is currently a gap. At Telecoms World Middle East, taking place in Dubai, all talk today was based around apps. The mobile applications business is already worth billions of dollars globally. Apple was responsible for 99.4% of mobile app sales last year. Now mobile phone developers and telco companies are wasting no time in jumping on the app bandwagon so as not to be left behind.
Mobile companies are slowly getting to the fact that they need to get all the different elements of the ecosystem in place. So getting the right application developers, getting the right platform that will allow these developers to provide you with those applications.
Often mobile applications don't translate or adapt well into Arabic, and that's why over the next year there's expected to be a dramatic rise in regional developers designing specific apps for the local market.
A lot of these applications can be built globally. There's a really good story this week of a Kuwaiti student whose app has made, now has 900,000 downloads. So the opportunity is there to produce stuff locally for a global audience, and we do have a lot of talent here.
Mobile phone operators themselves are racing against time to roll out mobile phone apps, with competition to gain market share from handset makers and other telco providers.
I think you've got a lot of handset manufacturers that are doing their own application stores, and I think if operators don't also provide customers, because we're at the forefront of customers and we interface directly with those customers, so we need to actually be the ones also providing content and applications.
Apps of the future will offer a company a direct, personal and private gateway to their unique customers. And aside from marketing, the potential is infinite.
I really see the opportunity not just in marketing, but also in customer service. Consumers are becoming more and more demanding in terms of how they interact with brands and with governments. And the opportunity with mobile apps, really, I think the real opportunity is in utility and in making things easy and making things practical and finding things that you can do with the mobile web that you can't do with the static web.
According to experts, as smartphone users become more dependent on applications, they'll be more willing to put up with mobile advertisements, creating substantial opportunity for marketing companies and application developers. The Australian dollar reached an all-time high today, leaving many Australian expats in the UAE capitalising on investment opportunities back home. The Australian dollar rose above 99 US cents in today's trading. Australia's annual growth is running at about 3.3%, powered by strong coal and iron exports to Asian countries, including China. Economists say that the Reserve Bank of Australia might increase rates to next month to contain inflation. So what might that mean for Australian expats looking to invest their Aussie dollars wisely? Well, with us now in the studio to discuss the implications for Australian expats is the Treasurer of the Australian Business Council of Dubai, Craig Holding. Thanks a lot for coming on Emirates News this evening.
No problem, Greg. Thanks very much for having me.
Well, the Australian economy has made a great comeback after the global financial downturn. What does this actually mean, though, for Australians living here in the UAE?
Well, I suppose it's good and bad, Greg, On the good side, obviously, the Australian economy, as you said, is doing quite well. On the bad side, I suppose we've all taken a 20% pay cut in real terms, in terms of what the Aussie dollar is doing to your salary you take home every single month. So I suppose, Greg, you really need to think about, as an Australian over here, what are your goals and objectives whilst you're here? Do you actually continue to send money home, or do you keep it a little bit more in the US or dirhams, and then potentially time it to actually when you send your money back home? And that comes down to diversification of your asset base. Perhaps sending money home right now isn't the best thing, and you should actually consider other areas to actually move your hard-earned dirhams.
Now, this is a question you must get asked quite a lot, but what are the best investment options for Australian expats then?
I suppose, if you are holding on to Australian dollars, at the moment, obviously with the Australian dollar being quite high against all major currencies anyway, if you are looking to perhaps get into some kind of property investment and you want to do that back home but can't quite get into that market, perhaps you might want to consider another area like the UK from where you're from, or perhaps Malaysia or something else on those lines. So if it's a property investment, fine, let's have a look at some other areas you can invest in along those lines. But also, if you're actually holding on to US dollars and you actually need to diversify away from the US dollar, perhaps you need to look at the growing markets, the emerging markets and things on those lines like China, Greater China, India and things on those lines. That's actually where you should be starting to invest your money, and obviously sitting down with a financial advisor like myself from Acuma to actually sit down and work out your goals and objectives over the next few years.
Now, Craig, the Australian dollar almost hit parity today with the US dollar. Where do you see it heading?
It's funny that it actually almost hit parity on the back that the Reserve Bank didn't even increase their interest rate. The cash rate is still sitting at 4.5%. With the rate rise predicted in the next couple of months, you could probably see the Australian dollar going well above parity, and some estimates are going for about $1.20.
Great. Craig Holding, Treasurer of the Australian Business Council. Many thanks once again for coming in.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you very much. Yes, stocks rose today, heading into the weekend, ending up over 1% at 1,722. Here comes Thursday's markets and currencies in detail. And that is the very latest from the Emirates News Business Desk. Hermione.
Thanks, Greg. Well, you have a lovely weekend.
You too.
And
have
we'll
a great
see you next
weekend.
week.
See you on Sunday.
We'll take another short break.